Hi, for my topic for the discussion board post, Module 7 for this week, Week 7 of the American Revolution, I'm going to talk about the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution. The First Amendment states clearly, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The First Amendment to the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution covers the speaking, religion, and peaceable assembly and petitioning rights of every single U.S. citizen. So, this amendment is incredibly important. Without the First Amendment, you don't have freedom of speech, which is, of course, vital for a free society. You wouldn't have freedom of religion, which means the government would control religion, and basically it would be forced. It would be a sham. You'd have it would be something you'd have to pretend to believe something you didn't. The First Amendment was determined even to be applicable to objectionable or offensive speech in 1977 in the case of National Socialist Party of America versus the City of Skokie, which is a court case when the Nazi Party of America, yes, there is one, decided to march through Skokie, Illinois, but later actually went back on that and decided to hold a rally at a federal plaza instead in Illinois. So I think the reason for that was because there were a lot of Holocaust survivors in Skokie, apparently. The freedom of the press is the third part of the First Amendment, and it refers to the right of the press and journalists to report on and investigate the truth of matters that affect the public. Now, this is the subject of some contention because the press in today's America seems to be willing to do pretty much whatever it takes to get a story. If anyone who's watched news conferences knows the lengths that reporters will go to in order to get a quote from someone who is there. They'll crowd them as they walk through the halls. They'll crowd them around their car when they first get out. They'll flash cameras at them incessantly right up in their face. They'll take microphones and stick 10 of them in front of the person's face at a time. And it's very harassing behavior. So the question is that behavior part of the freedom of the press? Is there a limit to what the press can do in order to get its story? So that's a subject of some contention. The freedom of religion also faces a severe challenge in America today because even though it is guaranteed by the First Amendment, it comes into direct conflict with civil rights, for example, when it comes to private businesses. For example, in 2015, there was a Christian bakery in Colorado called Sweet Cakes Bakery by Melissa and Aaron Klein, a Christian couple who ran it. And basically, they believed that supporting gay marriage by baking and decorating a cake for a homosexual wedding would be aiding, and the Bible says that if anyone who supports someone else in their sin is guilty of as if they had committed it themselves. So, and they refused to, and they were fined $119,000 by the state, and they lost their business as a result. So, this is a major subject of contention. Does freedom of religion override the perceived civil rights of others? Is that a how exactly do we deal with that? That's a good question. Another interesting question on the freedom of religion is, what about when that religion is particularly violent and dangerous and has an extremely high rate of terrorism, for example, Islam. And regarding peaceable assembly and the right to assemble petition the government for redress of grievances, the Black Lives Matter movement is a good example of a contest and challenge I can think of with this, because as anyone who watched the news immediately after the Donald Trump victory, anyone who's watching the news immediately after that saw all the rioting and protest and so-called protesting that went on. But when a protest involves physical destruction of property, assaulting people, and otherwise committing illegal acts, it ceases to be a protest and becomes rioting. And that is not protected by the First Amendment. But these people claim First Amendment rights, so that's something of a contention. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the presentation on the First Amendment. Have a great day.